Success in farming is all about precision and efficiency, ensuring every seed, every drop of water, every nutrient and treatment counts. Terraplex Ag is helping farmers all over Iowa and the Midwest do just that. With precision ag drone technology and support from Terraplex, you'll boost your productivity and make timely and informed decisions, all while reducing your costs and increasing your profit. It's time to revolutionize your farming. Harvest the benefits with Terraplex Ag. Visit TerraplexAg.com.
My name is Joseph Hurst. I live in Ankeny, Iowa, and I'm a part of the PMBA program. I currently work as the Director of Sales at Stony Creek Hotels in Johnston, Iowa, and I chose the Iowa State MBA program because it just made perfect sense. About 2 years ago, I started this wonderful program, and I couldn't imagine not having done it. What has helped the most balance work, life, school, has been the people I'm in class with. It's great to go through questions, problems, study for tests, and it just makes the whole class so much easier. As a working professional thinking about doing an MBA program, I get night classes aren't everybody's dream. I get after a long day of work, you may not want to go do more, but it's worth it. You're gonna learn a lot, not just from the professors in the program, but from the other students. They come from all walks of life. They are from different age groups. They're from different companies. They're from all kinds of different backgrounds. They've got all kinds of different stories. And after 2 years, I've made some of the best friends I've ever made, learned the most I've ever learned, and I can't imagine what we're gonna do after we're done.
If you're just watching us on YouTube, that gentleman in the Ivy College of Business ad, he looks like he's living his best life.
He is.
Like that guy is, he's an inspiration. Could you? Oh,
what a happy guy.
Go and get your graduate at the Ivy College of Business.
Can't beat it. Can't beat it.
Williams and Blum, it's Sunday, the 1st of September. It is Cyhawk Week. My name is Chris Williams. I'm joined as always by Brent Blum. We are in the Wild Rose Casino studios. We are presented as always by our friends at Mechdyne, the Mechdyne Corporation, MECHDYNE.com. Looking forward to tonight's show. First one ever with a Mechdyne employee, Jyrell Brock, former Iowa State running back, Colin Newell, and Jake Rimsberg. A couple of offensive linemen will be joining the very talented Jacqueline Cordova with our new show, Inside Zone. And you all can watch that on YouTube. You can download it on the podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. We are looking forward to that. That'll be a great show. And it will be a very nice addition. And I love getting Jyrell and Jake onto our network. I have a lot of love for those two young men and a bunch of others who got up in that whole thing. And I think it's awesome that we can bring them back into the ecosystem. And I hope all of Cyclone Nation gives them that love. I also wanted to say one thing, and this is totally off the cuff. And frankly, I didn't pay a lot of attention to it because I just am so locked into the game. There's, man, a lot of heat. I think probably hateful and just mean spirited towards that in-game host yesterday I saw online. Knock it off. That's a hard job to go out there and do that with a sound system like that for the first time. And you are giving ad reads, glorified ad reads. It's not like some, this isn't, you're not giving everybody a free t-shirt or whatever. And I don't know the woman. I have no idea how good of a job she did or didn't do. I hate the hateful stuff. I've seen some sexist stuff. Knock it off. I just wanted to say that today. How are you today, Blum?
I'm good. No, I'm good.
Sorry, I just threw that on you. I was talking.
No, I mean, that was honestly one of the main talking points on the message board.
I know.
And the game itself was just kind of like,
you can critique something without being mean about it.
Well, so here's what I'll say. I mean, clearly Iowa State's in-game presentation, they thought they needed to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about it on this podcast, between the entry, the song, the videos, some of the extra stuff. So they tried to do something different. And I think for a lot of people, change is weird. Change can be hard. And it's the first time. Like, you're not just
it's going to get
knock it out of the park. And you're right. That's a hard job. You're literally doing what was done on the PA announcement just in person in front of a bunch of people. That is really difficult, and it's new for people. And they're like, "What is going on here?" So, yeah, I'd
And
say show some grace. First
I've
first
never
game.
yeah, I've never spoken on that PA, but I've talked to people who have, and they're just like, it's startling, like the delay and like or like the feedback from it, like whatever. I just wanted to say that, like,
Yeah,
let's be nice, let's
it's
be
interesting
better.
though. But I would just say I would say it's certainly trying to make that in-game situation better. The timeouts are really long. Like they
Hmm.
are really long. That it's been a drag and it's nobody's fault. So they're trying to spice up the presentation part. I guess my 2 cents would be maybe you could do some more interactive things rather than just have her stand there in the crowd. But I don't know. It's up to the company as well. And the other
Yeah,
part on that, again, we'll get into the game. I promise.
yeah, I promise.
There's
I threw that on you. That
no, I
this
know, but
was all me.
so
Yell at me.
I want to bring this up because it's all relative here. As a university, as an athletic department, Iowa State needs the corporate sponsors to
You
be a
have to
part
make
of the
money.
family. Like
Exactly.
you have to have it. Like, do you want to compete in this era? This is not the 90s anymore, the 80s, where it was just the band and everything else. These companies want to support, but they also want to return on their investment as well. And so they want to be involved in the game in some capacity, in the presentation in some capacity. Yes, everyone realizes that is not real sexy entertainment to read about whatever.
She
So
has a hard job.
it's a
That's all.
hard job. Like
Yeah.
the whole, and I know even at the professional level, you seems like you're inundated with that stuff. But guess what? That's what pays the bills to keep the thing going. So your tickets aren't as high. So does everyone want to raise their tickets an extra $500, or do you want to put up with the ad reads? I mean, it's Chris. Honestly, it's kind of similar to this website, right? Like
I was just going to say that.
we'll get some comments of, hey, you guys are reading that a bunch of ads. It's like, well, there's a trade-off here, and that's part of it. So again, I would say everybody up there is doing their best. It's game one. You're gonna have some hiccups in game one for everybody, team included. I thought the sound system sounded a lot better, but it was loud. And so I think it was an adjustment for everybody to figure it out. And there's no question 3 weeks from now, I think it'll look more seamless and people will get more comfortable with the entire thing. But I agree with
Yeah.
you. I think people were hot. I think people were tired, and I think people were kind of crabby yesterday. And unfortunately, that was the person that they took out their frustration on.
Yeah, like you took the words right out of my mouth with this show. It's like, well, I mean, do you want more podcasts? Like we pay Jyrell Brock. He's not doing this for free. We pay Jeff and Grant. We pay Connor and Rob and Jacqueline and Aiden and me. Like this is a business. Like we're gonna have to have ads. Not everything can just be free.
Yeah, and I would love more band. Like I think we need
Yeah.
more marching band.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunately these companies, they're paying sometimes up hundreds of thousands of dollars, and their goal is to get heard in front of 61,000 people. Well, how do you do that with ads? And that's where
Yeah,
I
and
think
just
everybody needs to kind of understand how the sausage is made, and it just makes it a little more palatable.
same if it's just a good. Now we're like just preaching, and I apologize.
Yeah,
but
no,
like,
yeah.
you cannot like a defensive set or play call or without being like a dick. I don't know. Let's just all be a little bit cognizant of
People were
that.
running hot yesterday. It was interesting.
What was weird, they were online, but then I'm walking back.
Yeah,
Well, I didn't walk
true.
because Steve drove me, but like nobody in the parking lots
No,
was
it's
like that.
yeah.
I told somebody, an acquaintance of mine from the athletic department, because they were picking up on like just, and I was like, I really don't think. And Cyclone Reaction was not hot. Like
Okay, good. I didn't listen. I'm sorry. Yeah.
it was very, no, it's fine. It was very tame, like very measured. We got a lot of calls, like, and rightfully so, man. I'm a little worried about this rush defense. And that's the type of discourse I love to have. I don't like watching people bully online a woman who's doing her job for the first time. Like give it a chance. I have no idea if she was good or not because I'm in glass. Like I have no idea. Like I couldn't pick up on anything. But it's just be nice.
Yeah.
Just be nice. All right. There you go. Wokefanatic.com.
No, it's not. Just be decent. I had a great
nice.
Put it this way. I had a great time in the lots before and after. There were so many people who came by.
Not much like
that-
the season opener when it comes to that.
Oh, it's just the best. Like that, it just reminded me, it's about 11:30, and I ran into so many people that just came over to say hi, and it's like all of our old friends, coming by, spent some time with our guy Brett McIntyre. His
Nice.
family came over. We had a good time with the bachelors in our camp area. My guy Keith from Montana, came all the way from Montana. He brought us a whiskey bottle, and the name is Sudden Wisdom, which is perfect for you.
Perfect for this show.
But you just run into so many good people, and that's my favorite part. Again, the game itself.
My favorite part of game day is the group of friends of ours from I don't know where they're from, but they're great people. They're just right down the tailgate, right in between us. They got that little golf cart and they drive around. And every time they always bring me a shot of Cody Road after an Iowa State win. And I was starting to think that they weren't coming last night, and then they showed up, and and we had a drink of Cody Road together. So no, that's the best part of it. And it's where I'm like very grateful that Iowa State's football program is in the position that it is, where you win by 18 and everybody's like finding things to bitch about. Like, to me, like, is say what you want, but the expectations have been raised. I have the poster in my office, the Liberty Bowl, where it says the standard has been raised.
Yep.
That was Matt Campbell's big thing. And with that, you get people who are very nitpicky about non-conference games like this, and that's fine. I'm all about it, and this is what I love to do. I love to break down the tape. I love to say, this is where they can get better. This is where I have a major concern. I have some of those today, but after watching the tape back, I feel much better specifically about the offensive side of the football.
Agreed.
I think it was incredibly vanilla. If you listen to us on Wednesday in our show from Whiffle's Hybrids, went by their tailgate on Saturday. Shout out to all them. Really starting to develop some great friends there. I think that we nailed it in the sense that we knew if he had a lead at halftime, Matt Campbell was going to make it the game the most boring game possible. It's exactly what he did. Having said that, there was also an aspect of it where you don't want to see your rush defense getting gassed by an FCS team like that. So dig in, Bloom. What was your overall thoughts on the game?
Yeah, so I echo that. I would say very, very comfortable and confident with this offense. And I thought it was kind of cool. We had a feeling that Mauser would let it rip early, just because that's the kind of guy he is. And that first two plays, that was really cool. And Jalen with the catch of the year, I mean, that was incredible. And then Jaden Higgins, that next play was, those two could have each had 175 yards receiving in that game if they really wanted to. And so you look at, I ran the number seed up. Iowa State ran only 48 offensive plays. That was the fourth fewest in college football this weekend. Only 48, fourth fewest. So the yards per play, and again, the two big plays help that. I understand. I mean, it is part of it. But Iowa State was right at 7.35 yards per play. That was the same yards per play that Texas had in its 52-0 win over Colorado State. So It looks different, but the game was really changed completely on that long drive for North Dakota. That was a 21-play, 80-some yard drive that ended in a field goal. It took 13 minutes, and it was almost like, all right, you guys can just kind of run the ball in front of us. And yes, the rush defense was not great. There is some concerns there, particularly at linebacker because of the injury to Caleb Bacon, and to be determined, but it did not look good on the field. And so I have some concerns with that portion. But I don't think North Dakota tried to throw it really at all. I mean, it just felt like they were just content to get some first downs, chew up the clock, and lose by 20, which that's what happened. And then you're right. Once you got to the second half, it was Matt deciding, we could probably throw it to Noel and Higgins and put up a bunch of points.
Could have.
But what's the point then? Like, what are we trying to accomplish here? And it reminded me almost exactly like that UNI game last year, except there is one huge difference, and that is Rocco Becht. I mean, that guy, between him, Higgins, and Noel, I think Iowa State's got three of the better offensive players in the Big 12. If those three stay healthy and on the field at the same time, I think Iowa State's offense can compete with anybody, and Iowa State will be in every single game because of those three. Yes, there is some concerning with the ability to run the ball, but the most important position in football is the quarterback, and Iowa State has a great one. And he was in total command all day with those receivers, and Ben Bramer got dinged up a little bit this week. He'll get back there. I thought Eli Green looked really good. I think it's going to be a nightmare for teams trying to defend Iowa State. And ultimately, C-Dub, you'll probably see it on Saturday. You might have to throw it 40 or 45 times a game. You just might. So be it. I think this team's going to be able to move the ball. Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeah. So, but Rook, on the defensive side, not great. Safeties corner. I thought Jontez Williams was really good. Defensive line, I'm just not totally. I'm not real concerned there. It's the same guys, and they've been pretty good. So it's just the linebacker situation has me a little bit nervous. But
I think the D line will be remarkably better next week.
I do too.
I'm really concerned about linebacker. And it's not just you. If you heard me on this show all summer, I was concerned about linebacker. I wasn't panicked, but now you take Bacon out. Blum, I mean, they were third string guys were out there yesterday.
Well, and Brazina didn't play. Brazina got hurt in practice this week. He's probably going to be back for the Iowa game. Will McLaughlin,
which will help, but he's still a true freshman.
You're right. Will McLaughlin is also injured. Didn't dress. I don't see that. I don't think that's a short-term injury. I think that's something a little more substantial.
You're already out
Willich. Yep.
You're already out Willich. You're already out. Who else? Whatever. It's now you're gonna have to move some stuff around. I think is that bringing Bo Freeler up, which to me makes a lot of. Let's assume. This is an assumption here that Bacon's out, right? Like we don't know his injury yet, but there's no way he's playing against Iowa. So just assume he's out, unless Jesus himself comes down from the clouds and touches his knee. He ain't playing against Iowa. Brazina, let's say he plays. Okay, so he's in there for Ellis. I think Ebel probably looked the best of the linebackers.
Made some young mistakes. He cooked a couple bad routes.
Yeah, I think it's coachable stuff.
Totally agree.
If you like that stuff, Ben Bruns' Cyclone Sunday podcast with Aiden over on Iowa Everywhere was real good today.
Yep.
Enjoyed that. Good job, Aiden. Aiden dropping the football knowledge for everybody there. I love it. I am really concerned there. I'm fascinated too by this matchup against Iowa. This is a bad week for that position group to be like that. If they were playing Houston next week, I don't think I'd be that concerned. I'm a little concerned about bringing Freeler up because I just don't know if I want him hitting that much with his bad shoulder and the way that thing has gone. I don't know, Bloom. This is a bad spot to be in after one game with Caleb Bacon's situation. Here's the deal. They have talent. I'm not denying the talent in that room and the young guys, but none of them have played. And here's the one positive from it is the bulk of the schedule is at the end of this year. So those guys are all going to be better in October, November than they are right now.
And you get a week off after this Iowa game.
Yeah. But I just, the way the linebacker thing sets up really, really, really disturbs me because I don't see a fix there. Again, I watched the D-line. I think the D-line didn't play a good game. I am concerned because it looked a lot like last year where these guys weren't getting pushed by themselves, whatever. It looked a lot like last year, but I don't think all the people in Ames have been lying to us about how good they think these guys are. I don't believe that. I don't know how you fix the linebacker deal the way it is right now with the injury situation. And it's not an excuse. It's a reason. Like they were playing third string guys. There were 6-7 guys just rotating around. It was like they were trying to find stuff. So we'll see. The good thing is they played very competitively against Iowa with Sadowski and Ellis in the lineup last year.
True.
Right. Like
they
these
held
guys
them to
can play
200 some yards with those same guys.
Correct.
And again, Iowa put up 40, but it was kind of a surface level 40.
I haven't watched that game yet, so I can't comment too much on it. But
I-
where are you at on this linebacker deal?
Yeah, so I'm really interested. I mean, you're gonna find out. You're gonna find out a lot more. It didn't seem to me though. Iowa State really tried to do anything exotic defensively to try and cover some of that stuff up. I mean, it just felt like Iowa State was very base. They're like, all right,
It was.
get your 4 yards. We're still going to win the game, and we're not going to show any of our stuff. And then whether you agree with that or not, I don't think Iowa State sent a blitz all day. Not even a run blitz, really. It was very, very basic. So
There were a few. I think the 2 sacks came on blitz plays,
Okay.
but whatever. But to your point, it was very vanilla.
it seemed like there wasn't a whole lot happening. And credit North Dakota. I mean, the kid made some throws. Their little receiver is a good player. Like that guy is going to play in the NFL. I really believe that. He's a good player. But what you're going to have to do now, CW, is you're going to put your corners more on an island, which I think against Iowa is okay, and you're going to have to bring up your safeties. You know, I mean, not necessarily that your safeties are going to play linebacker, but you're basically your 2 safeties, your Verdone and Freeler. You're going to have to bring those guys up, you know, in the box and just try and do it with numbers. And Sadowski's played, Ellis has played, Klosterman played a little bit. Like
he was okay.
Yeah, he
all
was
those
fine.
Guys
He had a couple moments. So I think you can scheme around it. What is hard to do, it's in the middle of a game. And Bacon not only is so relied on, but CW, I believe he was the helmet communication as well. And it just throws everything for a loop. So I don't blame Iowa State for
I believe the 12-minute drive or whatever came right after Bacon's injury. And they looked confused. Like the way just the defense looked in that span of the football game. And I don't know. I'm not encouraged when it comes to that. And I don't know what John Haycock and that group can necessarily do. You can't make Cooper Ebel a junior, right? Like you can't do these things, but this is somebody reminded me today of 2017 and they won a bunch of games with not very good linebackers at that time. Like that's the thing. Like, I think that like, I can't wait to watch Brazina. I think they have good players. They're raw and they should though get better leaps and bounds by the week. Like I want to watch 47. Like he, to me, like, you know, he wasn't perfect, but you could see it though. You're like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense what they've been saying about that dude. Like,
and having seen Brazina in practice, you know, almost a carbon copy of Ebel the way. So those 2 guys are going to be good. There's no question. And the great thing is in Iowa State's system, in my opinion, the safeties can cover up a bunch of it. Like they really can. I mean, Iowa State is basically those safeties are essentially a smaller linebacker the way Iowa State operates. And when Iowa State get creative with its pressures and things, you can bring Bo down, you can bring Malik down. Yes, in an ideal world, McLaughlin's healthy, Bacon's healthy, Brazina's healthy, and you run with those guys. But it still isn't that position where you can still get away with it with some disguise stuff. And specifically against Iowa, I am bringing my guys down and said, throw it on us. Good luck. Like it's a big game for Porter, Williams, and who am I missing? John Tez, Porter,
Lyles.
and Purchase. Yeah, because I think you're going to dare them to throw it. You know, they had a couple guys catch some balls against Illinois State, but by and large, you know, offense was okay for them. And then they didn't run it great either, C-Dub. You know, it's not like you're dealing with the Iowa offensive line from 2002 either. So you know what they're going to do. And you just got to fit. You just got to fit better. And I think an extra game and a week to prepare, knowing you're probably not going to have Bacon, Iowa State's going to have a plan. I mean, that's the thing with Haycock is he will come up with an idea, and is Iowa going to be patient enough to not screw up and have a 15-play drive? I don't know. Like they didn't really do it yesterday.
Yeah, and the Iowa thing's just weird. Again, I haven't watched it yet, but without Kirk being there, and this feels to me like a game that's going to be a brutally low possession game.
Yep.
Where Iowa State's recipe is the Hunter Deckers Gyro Brock drive from 2 years ago. That's the recipe. Think and do that. And I think Iowa is going to watch this tape and they're going to try and get Caleb Johnson and that running game going. And, Luke Lachey, right? Like, I'm looking at Malik Verdone. I'm looking at Bo Freeler to really have big games against Iowa if the Cyclones want to win that one coming up against those tight ends. But this screams low possession, and I don't know. We'll play ghost point spreads here. Play the under.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what
Still,
is the over under? Probably like 40.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm saying that like with not a lot of faith in Iowa State's defense right now, but I think that Kirk will go back to doing. I don't think they're going to like open it up against Iowa State.
No, zero
after
chance.
what they saw on tape. Like I think they're going to try and run the ball.
That's what they are going to do. Now, I think on the Iowa State end, it's fascinating because I believe Knoll and Higgins are just better than what they have in the secondary. I know their secondary is good, but I don't know with this group if you still want to try and do the 15 play drives. Like I think you still got to try and take some shots. And I know that's what Iowa wants you to do, and that's where they take advantage. Is you make a mistake when you take a shot deep. This is a big Rocco Beck game coming up. Like he's got to be good. He cannot afford like he did last year to have that pick six. That's how this game is won or lost. I mean, Iowa State outplayed Iowa mostly from a stats standpoint, but did not on the turnover battle in that pick six change the entire game. That's what Iowa's going to try and do. Is you panic and you try and force something, then they take advantage because on their side they're gonna be very conservative and just try and run it at Iowa State. Yeah, so I agree. I think this is low possession, but can Iowa State hit a couple big ones in that pass game? And you use your best players. Iowa State's best players are its receivers and its quarterback. You got to use them. And if you lose that way, honestly, if you lose throwing 4 interceptions, so be it. But I just don't know if you can just get in a mud fight with those guys and win that game over there.
I have a lot of faith in Rocco as far as if Iowa's going to do, we know what they'll do.
I do too.
But I think he's a guy who I would maybe even more than Purdy back in the day because Brock had so much of that Brett Favre in him where he'll go off script, Yep. But and Rocco did that on play 1 yesterday and got away with one.
Yeah.
I hope he didn't try and throw that in Iowa City too much because that's going to get picked off more often than not. But it was a hell of a start to the season, though.
Honestly, I don't know about you, but I almost feel with Rocco right now and these receivers about as good as they did when you had, Purdy and Hutchinson and those tight ends. Like I think that highly of his ability to manage a game.
All right, let's thank a couple of our sponsors. Talk a little bit about the offensive side of the football for Iowa State. First of all, my new co-host on Cyclone Reaction, Colin Newell, did a great job yesterday. Again, you'll hear him tonight on his Inside Zone show with Jacqueline and Jairel and Jake. And Colin and I we're working something up. He wants to do some stuff to honor teachers in Central Iowa and send them some coffee and all that. It's really neat. He's trying to get back and doing good things. So really, really proud of him and where he's come, and nice young man. And we're excited to partner with him here on Cyclone Fanatic. Same with my buddy, Jeff Kelderman from Kelderman Manufacturing. You need to decide. I am going to be down there on Wednesday because RVTV's there. If you want to do Williams and Blum live from Kelderman's, it doesn't have to be live. We could just record it from there. But I'm going to be down there. I want everybody to look up the Kelderman Manufacturing YouTube page, though.
Yes.
Too. They're really they're being pretty ambitious with this. If you want to get a better look at what their garage is like, it's badass. Like I just get all amped up every time I'm down there in Oskaloosa. Kelderman Manufacturing. Also, our friends from the Iowa State University Foundation. Go to movewhatmatters.com. Be a well-rounded Cyclone. You can never give too much to the Iowa State University. Pick an area of the business or of the school that you love. I got a nice letter from the marching band last week because I am an annual giver to the pride of Iowa State, the University Marching Band. Fantastic rendition. I told our old buddy, the first producer ever of the Williams and Blum show, John Larkin. Bumped into him in the press box yesterday. Said, "Hey, John, what's up, man?"
I love that guy's voice. You're Iowa State University football varsity marching band. It's good.
The voice of the pride of Iowa State. Okay, so offense, we've kind of touched on it.
Yeah, I got something to say about the run game.
Yep.
Obviously, the line concerns. You got injuries there. everybody realizes Jalen Travis did not play, and Hastert did not play, and Tyler Miller played about half the snaps. He's been dealing with an arm injury. So, yeah, did not run it great, clearly. But I didn't really I don't know. I'm not panicked about that yet. This to me, it did not feel like the Memphis game by any means. I mean, Abu and Carson and Jalen Jackson. So, for the sake of argument, Rocco had 4 sneaks for 8 yards. Dylan Lee came in late, had 3 carries for 9 yards. If you take those 7 carries out, Iowa State only ran it 15 times. I mean, that's a pretty small sample size. And in that 15 times, they would have run for, do my quick math, 69 yards, which is still about 4.5 yards per carry, which is satisfactory. It's sufficient. It's a sufficient amount. Not great. It's not horrible. It's better than it was against you and I last year. But you're going to have to be better. You're going to have to be better there. But I just don't think Iowa State is going to have to rely on the ground game to win games on offense. You put the ball in your best playmaker's hands. I thought Carson Hansen did a lot of good stuff in both the pass and the run game. And I think Abu's going to be fine. And he really, he averaged still 7 yards per carry, which is
he's very explosive. I mean, he had that hurdle, which I don't want to do that too much either.
Yeah. Stay on the ground.
Yeah, I'm not that concerned. I'm not. They pass protected well. It is. I think there's this miscommunication that like when we're optimistic about things in the offseason, people take it however they want to hear it. True. If you guys have listened to me all offseason, I've said I hope that they throw to set up the run. Because I was never confident that whoever is playing offensive line that this is going to be this mauler of a football team. And what does Matt Campbell say? Players, formations, plays. I want to get those wide receivers on the field. I want them to be the focal point. And then if that's the case, it is going to enhance what Abu Sama and Carson Hansen can do. Hey, do you think you have a top 3 quarterback in the Big 12? Let Rocco cook, like the kids say. I was fine with it. I wasn't blown away. But I also, especially when you watch it back, it was like, God, we freaking nailed it. That Campbell was just going to bore us to death in that second half. And that's what happened. Realistically, too, dude, like, let's be honest. If Rocco doesn't overthrow a couple guys in that first quarter or whatever, like this game's different. You win by 40 and everybody feels differently. Rocco wasn't great there early. And, he just missed like 3 plays and then he played a perfect football game after that. So big deal. Move on.
For first downs. I mean, so Iowa State, I think I want to see how many drives they actually had. It wasn't many. And then, there's 3 passes. He's got to hit those. Like when you get in big games on Saturday, you got to hit those. Those are the ones that you need to sustain it. But it was, I'm just not concerned there. And did he get sacked? I mean, I don't think he got sacked.
I don't think he did. No.
Iowa State had 4 penalties. Now, the problem is 2 of those were false starts that really ended 2 different drives. So, got to be a little bit better with the timing there, but largely pretty clean. Special teams was fine. There were some issues sometimes with some of the getting some of the punts off in not a timely manner that Ben Bruns addressed. But Iowa State didn't have a turnover. 4 penalties. Rocco completes close to 80% of his passes. Rocco and Jalen and Jaden were great. Yeah, I think this offense.
Kramer was non-existent.
And Matt said in the postgame he got dinged up. But he played, which is good.
Yeah, it's a good thing he was out there. But he was only 1 target at the tight ends in 4 quarters.
With the Boo, this is who he is. He's gonna have a couple monster runs. He's a big play guy. He's not somebody who you hand it to 25 times and just grind out games. That is not
you nailed
it.
Yeah. You nailed it. Him and Hansen almost exclusively splitting reps most of that game until Abu got dinged up on that one play and came out.
And I thought Jalen Jackson gave a little something different. For a line that's just not going to maul people, he gives you enough of a different dimension as a little guy to kind of wiggle around there and pick out 3, 4, 5 yards at a time. So, I think that was more of a first game problem or problem being the running game than anything. That's a sample size issue to me. I'm not overly concerned, and I think Travis will come back. It's probably not going to be this week, but I think he'll probably play against Arkansas State.
I enjoyed watching Eli Green.
Yes, huge positive.
Is he a guy that you're going to have a hard time keeping off the field here in a couple weeks? Just feels like he looked kind of different to me.
Yep.
He looked like he really fit. I don't know. I don't have a huge sample size, but that he just every time he did something, I would kind of go down. Oh yeah, that's Eli Green, because I don't have it memorized yet, but he looked really good.
It felt like he got open whenever he wanted. He just has that special quality, and that was his MO at North Dakota State. Is the guy just makes plays and gets open. His athleticism won't wow you if he's doing just a testing drill, but the guy is just a really good player. I agree. I think he's going to see the field a lot. And nothing against Nagoye or Olsen or some of those guys.
Nagoye was great too.
Yeah, I thought
he was
Benny
good.
played well. I just think Eli is that perfect complement for Jaden, Jalen, and Ben. And if you give me those 4 guys on the field at once, I just feel good about things. I really do. I think Iowa State Eli could have had a bigger game, but in that second half, Iowa State was content because North Dakota didn't seem to really want to put pressure either. They didn't even throw it downfield at all, C-Dub. Their longest pass play was 30 yards, and it was a screen play. They didn't even try and throw it. To me, it was almost as if they were happy to only lose by 20. And I say that respectfully.
I could see that,
if they tried to throw it and stay in that game, then they're going to throw 3 more interceptions, and that scores could be, 40-7 or something like that. But they just shorten the game, and it is what it is, and you move on to the next
one. Anything else offensively that you would like to address?
I think
I think we've covered everything pretty well.
Yeah, notable Huffer did start at center. And then that other starter was Dylan Barrett from Wisconsin, who, again, I didn't pay enough attention to know who did what or how they did. But the fact that Barrett gets the start and so did Black, we'll see what that means if and when Travis gets healthy. And
they were jacking around a little bit late in that game with rotations. I don't know how much you paid attention to that.
Trevor Bohr played a little bit. I thought played well. They're high on him.
Boniface played some.
Yep.
Got in there at center, and I was overthinking it. I did talk to somebody today. I don't think that I was like, are you sort of Chance Huffer moves back? And I don't think so. They probably would have done that knowing that Travis and Hester were going to be out. I feel like if you're going to make that move, you do it before season opener. It's not like schematically that changes.
Right.
I haven't looked at Pro Football Focus yet to see what grades are.
Just to pull that up here. Here we go. I gotcha.
How my guy James Neal do? I'd love to know.
Let's see. Defensive. Let me go to offensive grades. Hold on. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. I'll pull it up. Yeah, okay. I mean, again, I'm not going to overreact on that one Saturday game. No, so Neal, the highest rated offensive player was Jalen Knoll.
Shocking.
I know.
He had to be in the 90s.
He was in the 90s. The highest rated lineman was Brendan Black. But Barrett was right there. Hufford. Yeah, where is James Neal on here?
He was the one where I would wonder if we could probably make a pretty big jump from week 1 to week 2.
Yeah, he was the poorest rated starter.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me. But again,
they're all in that same. None of them were great. They're all kind of that same 60 to 75 region.
Yeah, I'm not panicked there. Again, guys, like I think that after week 1, I like where we were at in the offseason as far as our analysis of this. Like, we think they'll be better. Don't think that they are going to be this group of maulers, and that's why you call plays according to.
Yep.
And Bruns, though, go and listen to Bruns. Like, he really liked what he saw. He thought that he thought that they were super, super physical. He thought they looked bigger, faster, stronger than a year ago. And Bruns will tell you if the line play is not good. Like, he's not a blow smoke type guy, which is why I like listening to him.
I had a couple other smarter people say, hey, they thought the offensive line was fine. Like, it wasn't terrible was their quote. It's just the could not quite get to the second and the third level, but there was space there. And then the couple plays that Carson and Boo made, you turned a 5-yard gain into a 15-yard gain, and that was good. I think it is notable though. Trevor Bohr did play 14 snaps, so something to keep in mind as somebody who's a younger guy that they're excited about, that maybe he starts to get more run as time goes on here.
Hey, one other, and this doesn't mean anything, guys who just pop for you on the field. I said that about Jontez Williams a year ago.
Yep, smart.
Burkle, I looked down at 84 and I'm like, man, that's a nice piece of real estate right out there and lined up in the slot. 84.
Yep.
I'm anxious to see more of that young man.
27 snaps for him.
Yeah, he was out there a lot.
Yep.
And that makes sense if Ben was dinged up. We didn't know that. I didn't know that at least going into the game.
I didn't either.
That kid, it was Eli Green and Burkle were kind of the guys that caught my eye.
Bramer was the lowest rated offensive player yesterday.
Wow. That doesn't happen very often.
No, but he only played 16 snaps. Like there was
sounds precautionary what they were doing there. And I would guess the Tyler Miller one was too. Like we had the game in check. Let's get some run from these other guys. No reason to put him out there.
Correct. And Morrow got 25 snaps too. So again, they tried some other guys there. Like they're trying to build in. And I think the message this offseason and during fall camp was, and it's just an interesting philosophy. Iowa State practiced hard, like hit hard all fall camp. And I think there was probably a couple injuries because of it. But they want to be physical and ready to go in September because they've heard it too. Like, hey, you got to start fast. And unfortunately, that's the other side of the coin. When you go hard, you're going to get dinged up, some of these guys. And they felt a little bit. But Iowa State was never threatened, won the game. And if they can clean up a little bit, the linebacker is the biggest concern for me. And we'll find out a lot about this team on Saturday.
Let's do our Wiffles Hybrids Big 12 segment, and then we will do Guess the Point Spreads. Plant your independence, plant Wiffles. We had a good week with them. We did Williams and Blum Wednesday out at their Farm Progress show. We'll get together that they had at the new Ames facility. Thanks to them for being so welcoming. Blum took some players from We Will out there to sign autographs, take pictures, and do all that stuff. It was a very successful weekend. And then, did you get over to the tailgate yesterday? Or
I know you were quickly on my way in with my kids. Okay. My kids were being unruly though.
I hung out with my guy Adam there for a while. I saw the early wines. Yeah, it was good time. So thank you for their hospitality all week long. We appreciate it. We got to meet Mr. John
Wiffle.
And Jacob Wiffle. Yeah, we got the red carpet treatment on Wednesday over there in Ames. So we appreciate them. Not a lot as far as Big 12 stuff goes, other than the West Virginia game. West Virginia lays an egg against Penn State. We talked about that on Wednesday.
Yep.
Had that one circled all offseason as a giant opportunity for the Big 12. I don't think the Big 12 looked very good this week. I'll be honest. This is a wide open league. I hope Iowa State can get healthy because, Utah is what they were really good in their opener. Kansas, whatever. UCF was really impressive, but they didn't play anyone. Colorado was that they are not any better. They are the same team that they were a year ago. TCU really struggled, but got the nice road win at Stanford, but they struggled while doing it. Oklahoma State was impressive. That was the best win of the week, I thought, for the Big 12, a 44-20 win over South Dakota State. The Arizona schools both took care of business, but like Texas Tech damn near lost. They Abilene Christian went for 2 in overtime, and we'll see. I'm a Joey McGuire guy. I like him. I like his offense, but he clearly doesn't like defense. 52-51. Did you watch? We a whole group in my area was huddled around watching the end of that game.
Yeah, I had a couple TVs going. They're 40-point favorites. There are issues of Iowa State's got some issues at linebacker.
It could be way worse.
They've got systemic issues on their end, and give me a couple personnel issues rather than systemic issues. And that was not good for them. Now, again, it's 1 week. I agree with you. I think as a whole, the Big 12 is just kind of, Utah was good. K-State was fine. They didn't blow them away by any means. I don't know. I think it's wide open. Cincinnati actually had the best offensive numbers of anybody. And then Arizona went nuts with McMillan, who's going to be a problem. But they didn't stop a soul. I mean, they gave up like 500 yards to New Mexico at over 8 yards a clip. So they're not going to defend at all either. So Texas Tech and Arizona are going to be one of those teams that's going to like old school Big 12 stuff. So I'm not going to overreact to week 1 other than I thought, TCU was workmanlike, and I thought that was probably the best win of the bunch to go on the road against a ACC team, I guess.
They didn't. I watched that whole game.
Yeah,
They didn't really impress me.
They were just kind of there, but at least they won a game against another Power 5 team at least. And in West Virginia, oops, that loss for them. Now he turned it around for himself last year, Neil Brown. That loss starts to get people to start questioning again.
Was it a fluke?
Yeah. That was bad. That was bad news for the Mountaineers.
Real quick, I'm just checking in. Ollie Gordon, we wondered if he would play. He was okay. 27 carries, 3.9 yards per carry. It was Alan Bowman. Had a really nice game. That looked like an old school Gundy kind of ass whooping.
Yeah, and
I think that they're pretty good. I really do. Gundy is a little bit like the anti-Dabo Sweeney in the sense that, like, when he senses something is not – Campbell's like this too. I give Matt credit for this. Like, when Matt in the middle of the year, if he senses something's working, he will pull the plug and do something different.
Yep.
Gundy did that last year, and they've been really good ever since. So a little bit different than the West Virginia conversation where they surprised us all. Like, we had left Oklahoma State for dead. They rattle off how many in a row, go to Big 12 championship game, and then you play South Dakota State and you beat them by 24. That to me is a big eye opener. Applause to Mike Gundy and that team.
Yeah, but and again, I'm gonna be with the nerdery here. If you look inside the numbers a little bit, they actually gave up more yards per carry than Iowa State did. They
better
gave
team
up
you're playing for what it's worth.
Yeah, they're a better team for sure. They gave up a bunch of, and they had a player go off for 7 and 150 and a touchdown as a receiver. So they are going to be what Oklahoma State has been.
Old school Gundy.
Yeah, I mean, again, they can score it. There's no question that Bowman and Gordon and their receivers look the part. But I don't know. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable about their defense. That was a really good win. It looks good on paper. But if you look a little bit deeper, there were a couple turnovers there that kind of turned that game around early. Yeah, Oklahoma State's going to be good. I think they're in the conversation, but I'm not going to make too many huge takeaways from that one.
Okay. Well, it's time for everybody's favorite segment. Aiden Wyatt is doing the production of Williams and Blum Sunday. And let's do Guess the Point Spread, shall we? Yeah, good job, Aiden.
It's my
Spreads is always presented by our friends at Webwise. Try webwise.com. They build, I don't like the word cheap, affordable websites for you. The standard WordPress type websites where I promise you, in my experience, I do this for a living, been ripped off by a lot of these companies that tell you that you need something that you don't. These are great Iowa Staters, Kevin and Adam. Try webwise.com. The Webwise solution. You can check them out at trywebwise.com. All right, we got a Friday night. BYU. Well, wait a minute, Bloom. I'm not seeing point spreads here for many of these. I'm going to have to pull up another number. This is not good.
Oh, no.
How do you guess the point spreads if the point spreads aren't posted?
Why aren't they out yet?
Well, they will be. Give me a second. It's just the one that I'm looking at is dead. Hold on. Let me pull up the Action Network. They'll have it.
Okay. You do the four-corner stall.
Please. Well, and honestly, when you got Boots Randolph, we don't really need to be
stall. Yeah. Soak it in, everybody. I did find it interesting that Iowa State went back to Thunderstruck yesterday, by the way. People missed that.
All right, I got him.
Okay. Thunderstruck was the walkout song.
Yeah. I just care less and less about that stuff the older I get.
I thought we did some sirens, though. I liked the use of the sirens.
Okay.
We can
I took a note on that. The sirens, we had more of them. Now
Yeah.
they need to be louder because I couldn't hear them from the press box.
Okay, louder sirens. Maybe turn down the music a little bit. I thought the music, am I old? I might be a little old. I thought the music was a little loud.
Louder the better.
Okay. More sirens.
Loud, hip-hop, and more sirens.
What if,
And be nice to the poor host lady.
What if the host just makes a siren noise? And everybody's happy. Give Jackie the crank horn on.
Oh my God!
Crank horn.
The football needs a crank horn.
Why doesn't football have a crank horn?
Friday night we got BYU at SMU.
Oh,
Nice little Friday night action here.
I like this.
You want to watch this? We should watch this on your sunroom.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Iowa City. I refuse. I told Connor and Rob, I was like, y'all are on your own.
So I have tickets.
Do not go into that cesspool.
Do I go?
No. Especially you. They hate you.
They do. Why don't they don't like me for some reason?
I mean, you're kind of a dick to them every chance.
I'm not. I just tell the truth.
Real quick, your Cyhawk line right now, as it stands, is -3 Iowa. Money coming in on Iowa early. Knew that would happen. This will get to 4, and then the money will reverse line Iowa State. Everybody will pound Iowa State once it gets over a field goal. That's what will happen. Your number is 36.5.
Oh my gosh. So it's 20-17.
Disgusting.
We've seen this game, everybody. Get ready. You're right. I don't want to go over there and watch that.
No, why would you do that? Why would you put yourself through that?
I already get the heebie-jeebies. Okay. SMU hosting BYU?
Yes. Friday night at 6 o'clock.
SMU 10.
You win. 11. Pitt is at Cincinnati, 11 o'clock on Saturday.
Ooh. Cincinnati.
Nice invite.
I like this game.
Friend of the program.
Cincinnati's 3.5 points favorite here.
2.5. You win. Kansas. Ooh. Kansas State at Tulane.
Who did Tulane? They get worked by somebody yesterday?
No, they kicked somebody's ass.
Was
you
the
want me to
other
look
way
at
around?
it? Hold on. Tulane. The Green Wave won against Tennessee Martin 41-6.
Oof. This is in Tulane?
Yes.
Was it New Orleans?
Kansas State played Tennessee Martin. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeesh.
I'm all jacked up because I don't have my normal.
Week 1 issues.
Oh, okay. 52-0. Tulane won
Over
against
Slappy?
SEL, whoever that is.
Oh, Southeastern Louisiana.
Yeah.
K-State's a 12.5 point favorite.
10-point favorite.
That's
Missed it by a half, but
that's a miss.
I mean, I might even give you that one though.
Nope.
I would play Tulane there.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see much K-State. How did Avery look?
I haven't watched it.
Okay.
Arkansas at Oklahoma State. You talk about perception games in the Big 12.
Here we go. Big win. This is actually good. West Virginia, country roads, they took themselves home. That was bad. We need Oklahoma State to rise to the occasion this week. Oklahoma State is a 8-point favorite.
9, you win. Not a Big 12 game, featuring 2 Big 12 teams.
Yeah.
Baylor
It's crazy.
at Utah.
This is a non-conference game. It doesn't quite make sense, but it is. Utah is a 15-point favorite.
17, you win.
Oh.
Good pull.
Baylor looked better, but they didn't play anybody.
For what it's worth, that opened at 14.5, and everybody's pounding Utah.
Yeah, I would probably do the same.
Sam Houston State is at Central Florida.
20.
24.
Oh. Sam Houston State's not terrible. They're okay.
Kansas at Illinois.
Oh. Didn't Kansas destroy them last year? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was on a Friday night.
Yep.
We were all watching it. Yep.
I say Kansas is a 5-point favorite here.
6, you win. Colorado at Nebraska.
Oh, no.
6:30 kick on NBC. Big one there.
Big one. When is the Iowa game? Iowa State game? 2:30?
2:30.
Okay. Oh, so we could get Husker tears and Iowa tears. Although we're not going to have Husker tears. This one
Are you rooting for Colorado?
Against Nebraska?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. 13
God, I
points.
really just don't like Dion. He's really It's his kids. They're like driving Lamborghinis, and they think that they like earned it, and it bothers me. They were born on third, and they think they hit a triple, and I don't like that.
I can't do it with Nebraska. I know. I mean, I will root for Nebraska one time every year.
You're not a Matt Rule guy?
Not. 13 points. 13.
7.
That's it?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll root for Prime. Go Prime.
I'm not a Matt Rule guy. And the Nebraska people are really nice when you go over there, but
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, but
You had to hang out with Matt Rule or Prime for 24 hours. We're all picking Prime.
There's no question.
I mean, I would want to hang out with Prime. I ain't hanging out with Matt Rule.
You should have a story.
Yeah, Prime's going to tell you some shit. That'd be awesome.
Matt Rule would probably, not tip the waitress or something.
Prime would probably give her, like, a gold chain.
He'll give him a watch.
You did great, sweetheart. You take this chain.
I just want to know how you are doing.
That book Perlman wrote, I got it back there, about the Cowboys in the 90s. Man, it's a must-read for anybody. It is unbelievable, the stuff that they were... They would go to Super Bowls when they were winning all those, and they would bring, like, a plane for all the, like, strippers and hookers and stuff like that. Jerry Jones would fly all the strippers and hookers out, and then he would fly them out before the wives and kids arrived in a couple of days.
This is in the book?
Yes.
Well, you can get away with that anymore.
Well, I think actually, like, Prime didn't partake in all that.
Okay.
He was like a huge... No, I'm serious. He would come on his own. Because he's like a huge Christian and stuff. He doesn't swear. I mean, I don't know all the insides, but it was like Michael Irvin and Nate Newton and all them boys were just crazy. All right. Houston at Oklahoma.
Houston.
This is not Tom Herman's Houston.
What was that last night? My gosh. This is 34.
27.
I'm taking that.
Going to take old Coach Fritz going against him?
No. Oklahoma will gladly name the score in that game.
I don't have a spread for 2 games for LIU. I don't know who that is.
Probably Long Island.
Yeah, they're at TCU. No spread there. No spread for Northern Arizona at Arizona. But I do have a spread for Texas Tech at Washington State, the Mike Leach game.
Wow.
And I believe they're putting Coach in the Washington State Hall of Fame that night, which is awesome.
That's really cool. This is a straight up pick'em.
You win 1.5 for the home team.
What time's that? That's a fun one.
The number on that is 65.5.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That is a Big 12 After Dark.
Saturday?
9 o'clock Saturday.
Yes.
On Fox.
So we go, hold on now. We go Cy-Hawk, Nebraska, Colorado.
And we start with Oklahoma State, Arkansas.
That's an 11?
Yep.
Then what's the other big game on Saturday? There's like one massive game, I thought.
I'll get to that in a minute. We'll finish guess the point spreads.
All right.
Presented by WebWise.
Of course.
Here in the Wild Rose Casino Studios, it's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne. While sipping on a Cody Road. Mississippi State, another Mike Leach school, is at Arizona State.
Arizona State.
They look good.
Good for them. Coach Dillingham. Well
I was
done.
on Wyoming that one.
Yeah. Well, that was a really good win. Good point. Who are they playing? Arizona State who?
Hold on. I heard him switch screens. Give me a second.
State.
Mississippi State. Yeah, Mike Leach.
Mississippi State is favored by 4.
4.5. You win. Let's look at our top 25 schedule next weekend.
It's pretty good, I think.
Oh, Texas at Michigan.
Yes.
Good. Will that be the highest rated non Michigan-Ohio State game in the history of a
Is that big news?
non-conference football.
Is that big news?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna get it. That's gonna get 10 milli plus.
6.5 Texas.
Okay.
What else do we got? That appears to be the one.
That's the big one. That's the one I was thinking of.
One big one right there.
And then, hey, everybody, speaking of TV, if you watch the pregame show for the Cy-Hawk game on CBS, they're going to have a feature on the Rocco Becht football camp.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you all can make fun of me. They interviewed me for that. Let's see if I make the final cut. Think I'll make the cut?
Yes.
Okay.
I was with you that day. You looked lovely.
Well, thank you.
Hey, can we declare Dabo Sweeney's dynasty dead at Clemson?
I think you can declare that. Yeah, it's officially declared.
Hey, listen, I'm not right very often, but when I am, I like to pat myself on the back. I called this son of a bitch years ago.
It's amazing he won 2 championships, honestly.
And I'm not calling him a son of a bitch.
No, I know.
I called the situation that.
Yeah.
And when he refused to get into the portal and when he was talking like, oh, once we start paying the players, I'm going to quit.
Well,
Well,
you may have to.
You're going to leave your $10 million cushy job just because the quarterback's getting a few $100,000.
The interesting part, like you start looking at playoff stuff, though, here, C-Dub, the ACC has had an awful start to the year.
Florida State plays tomorrow night for what it's worth.
Yep. And then, like Michigan struggled, Oregon struggled. So some of these games where they didn't lose, they didn't look great, that the more those happen, then you're for the Big 12s of the world, that helps. I mean, you're fighting for 12 spots at the end of the day. So it's always interesting, all these ramifications. This USC LSU game that's about to start. Also, it's not a like a knockout game, but will have big implications one way or another.
No doubt. Well, looking forward to next weekend. Let's watch the game together. I don't know if I want to watch the game with you. I feel like that might be bad for both of our mental health. We should not do that. Yeah.
If I'm going to be watching the game, honestly, if I'm at home,
just be alone.
I like to be alone. Is that a weird thing to do? I'm not doing game watch parties. I'm just not.
I won't go to game watches anymore. Nope. I'm not. It's nothing against fans. I love you all. It's so hard to do what I do and be talking to people, and because you want to watch it as close as possible so we can give the best analysis. And I don't feel great about it only because of the linebacker situation. But I also know that here's the one thing I like, and I'll leave you on this. And I haven't watched Iowa yet, but I think that their fan base is currently on, they're on one right now.
Like confident or they're stressed?
No, like ecstatic because they think they broke this offensive curse this weekend. And so I'm okay. And Kirk Ferentz is a very good coach. He's going to find ways to coach his team up, all that stuff. But I'm okay with the 20-year-olds at Iowa State thinking, man, we didn't play very well. We got a lot of work to do. We didn't reach our full potential. And you hope that those guys are reading headlines a little bit. I'm okay with that from a psychological standpoint. Do I think it truly matters what fans are feeling? No, but I also am not naive enough to think that these guys aren't on Twitter. Like, I'm okay with an overly confident Cade McNamara going into that game potentially. So We'll see. And maybe they're just better and they beat Iowa State. Well, it's very possible, but this doesn't set up terribly.
The track record here is on history over one game outlier for Iowa's offense. Like, just look at the last 3 years. Now, have they gotten better? I don't know. Like, they appear that they have a receiver. But what I would say is game 1 is not indicative of game 2 in the Cy-Hawk series. It almost never directly relates. Like, just go through the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. Some of Iowa State's wins over Iowa, they played awful in the week before. Some of Iowa State's losses to Iowa, and there have been several here recently, they played great in week 1. So I'm not making a whole lot of conclusions on this game based on week 1. The injury situation is a concern, though. That is real at linebacker, and I'm curious how Matt and the professor handle it, but Matt and the professor have seen a lot of stuff, so they're gonna have a plan. And if you're an Iowa State fan, take comfort in you got good people to figure out a way to make it work. They'll make changes. They're not going to be stubborn. And then on the offensive end, I'm not sure how Jalen Nolan and Jaden Higgins, as good as Iowa's defense is, aren't going to have a huge game. And you let it rip. Let it rip. See what happens.
Let her rip.
Let it rip.
Appreciate you. Aiden, thanks. It
job,
adds
Aiden.
a lot to the show when we have graphics and all that stuff. Good job, young son. Doing a good job for us. He's Aiden Wyatt for Brent Blum. Want to thank our friends at Mechdyne once again for being the presenting sponsor of Williams and Blum. Listen to Inside Zone tonight, tomorrow, whenever you're listening to this. And then I also want to give a shout out real quick to Leah, who hosted all the game day stuff with me on Saturday. That was a lot of fun. We will get better. I thought it was fine. It's one of those deals where, when you start to work with somebody for the first time, you don't know their cadence and all that stuff. And and I'm sure Inside Zone will be like that too. We've had that with the Kicking It show with Mahoney and Woody, that at first was kind of like, oh, and now it's like a trademark. It's becoming a big deal with what we do here. So we are investing in the future here at Cyclone Fanatic, and it's really cool to bring all these former athletes in. I love having that. It makes me feel old, though. But thanks to everybody. Please subscribe, rate, review, visit our sponsors. We appreciate y'all, and we will be back on Wednesday. Bloom and I will be here on Williams and Blum.